Welcome to Bonehead Weekly. We apologize about last week. Truth is, we had an episode done that it's kind of complicated. It's going to take me a little bit of editing to do the video version, and I just haven't got around to it. And I was out of town. James went AWOL, and Chad,
I
you're
was on
still on the heroin.
I was on vacation
Mm.
and it was a very enjoyable vacation. I wish James was here for this um, because I know neither one of you agree with me on this.
I don't know.
Universal.
You didn't send me any pictures of the Universal Monster toys.
Oh, well, there wasn't that all there was the NECA figures that I have. That's
Hold on.
why.
What did you say? The naked figures that you have?
NECA. NECA. And I know our listeners who go to YouTube can't see it because I always keep this is my office. It's just I keep the light off most days, but over here
He
on
wants
my
the
left hand
whole
side is
light on him,
is
on
a
his
cabinet.
bright, shiny
Exactly.
head.
Is a cabinet that has all the NECA Ultimate. How do you pronounce? Am I saying that right?
I guess it's NECA. I don't know. It's like NECA wafers.
It's all the NECA Ultimate Universal monster figures, along with Gremlins and RoboCop and what have you. Because I'm a big nerd. But yeah, that's the main reason. It's because that's all they had.
You were bigger
And
when you were younger.
yeah, and they had some T-shirts and stuff. So that's why I didn't send you anything because there was nothing to
Literally.
note.
Oh, yeah. Is this because I'm fat? You know, I can fit into some t-shirts
I
now.
did send you the picture of Haley Abby with the Wolfman, didn't I?
No.
Oh, I gotta send that to you. She
Well, it doesn't do me
so
any good now, Chad.
nope. Um, so here's the thing, and I know you and James will not agree with me on this. I think you'll have some points of pros and cons of between the two, but Universal I think is far superior to Disney.
If you're into roller coasters,
I like the so I'm not a big fan of the roller coasters as I was. I blacked out on the Hulk.
well, it looks real fast.
It is. My youngest daughter, had me ride it a grand total of 5 times. She rode it a grand total of 11 times in 4 days.
Yeah, I'd have threw up.
I blacked literally, so it shoots you really fast into a circle, into a loop. I mean, and I was halfway through the loop and I got my eyesight back. I'm like, shit, I just passed out.
Yeah. Well, hey, here's a bit of trivia. So for you
Yeah.
guys out there that are big fans of the Bill Malone film House on Haunted Hill, which we of the Boneheads are,
Mm-hmm.
the coaster, the Terra Incognito, is the Hulk coaster.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. That's yeah.
It's the Hulk
But no, I
coaster.
mean, I also too, we've talked about this. We talked about this in the Disney episode. I'm just not a huge Disney fan. So when I go to those parks, not a whole lot of it appeals to me other than the Star Wars.
You said a few years ago you took your daughters and it was like it was magical.
But that was the one time. It was really magical because we ran into had so many great experiences at Disney that I will not ever forget. But
Unless
that
it's now, in which case you're like, fuck Robert Iger.
no, but at the same time though, now that they're older, we went to Universal. We our last 2 trips to Disney have not. They've been okay. They just haven't been anything memorable. But this time at Universal, like my kids, they were great to my kids. I mean, they let them ride. They let them skip lines because they were excited about rides. When they talk, they would actually go up and talk to the staff, and the staff goes, "Here, let me do something for you."
Well, that's nice. I'm glad you had a good
And
experience.
yeah, and the thing is, all the attractions appeal to me. Simpsons, the Mummy ride was fantastic. I'd never been on it before.
Yeah, it's another roller coaster though.
I know, but when you go up one part
And plus, I didn't
and
used to. I couldn't use. I literally couldn't use. I couldn't fit in the seat.
right, but you could literally see Arnold Vosloo as Darkman, cast as the Mummy, going, "I will swallow your soul," and you go through his mouth in front of all this green smoke, and then you go into this building room, and the ceiling's on fire. It's
Mm-hmm.
fantastic.
Yeah, I couldn't fit
So,
the seat. I don't know if I can now or not, but back in the
yeah.
day, I couldn't.
But yeah, I just had we had a ball, and that's why
Universal hates fat people.
I wasn't here last week to do an episode because I was on vacation.
Yeah, 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 and did not send me. He had one task. He had one task to find me Universal monsters.
And if I found them, I would have sent it to you. They're in the Mummy ride, just in case you're curious. And in Islands of Adventure, there's a little like right next to there's this section that has like Greek
Mm-hmm.
like ruins. There's now a little kiosk
Runs.
where you where you can walk inside and there's monster stuff. Like there's the creature. They have like life-size figures of the creatures, the monsters.
Yeah.
So there you go. And it's just t-shirts.
Well, I'm glad you had a good time.
I did.
James isn't here to mock you. Shameless.
I don't know what he would probably do. I don't think he would rip into me about the fact that I just had more there for me at Universal.
No, if you like roller coasters, Disney is not.
And it's not necessarily roller coasters, Joe. It's just the fact that everything around it, the whole theme of the park appealed to me more than anything at Disney.
So doesn't have some. It just doesn't have. I don't know. It doesn't have any Tinkerbell dust on it. I don't know a better way to put it. I like going there. I haven't been there in several years. I could do both parks in one day back in the day. If there wasn't too crowded, I could do both parks in one day.
You technically could. Yeah, you don't ride roller coasters, and technically you could now. Most of the wait lines for me were like 20 or 15 minutes.
Yeah. It's they keep making a big deal about Disney's about the attendance at Disney, but what they keep forgetting is it's actually all across Florida.
Yeah.
It's not just Disney. The revenge traveling's kind of over. We had the hottest summer on earth, and inflation's a bitch.
Yeah, I was one day at Universal was 114 degrees, and we were right in the middle of it.
Yeah, that sounds awful.
I did discover one key aspect. I don't put on enough deodorant for 114 degree weather.
I don't know that anybody does.
I figured it out, but man, that
unfortunately everyone figured it out.
Oh yeah, that first day. Sorry, people, that probably hurt your ears. I was a walking pile of a walking barf bag. That's all I could describe myself as. I literally, that guy was saying literally. At one point, I had to lift up to get something out of the backpack for the girls, and I almost knocked myself out from the smell.
Yeah, that sounds awful. I'm glad I didn't go with you.
I know.
Not that I got an invite, but I'm glad I didn't go with you. Which leads me to, I was doing Huntington Comic-Con this past weekend, and some of the smells I got.
And, by the way, it's your fault. You didn't call me about a specific booth that I was supposed to tell you about that I forgot about because I didn't realize Huntington Comic-Con was last week.
So it's my fault that you forgot to tell me about a booth that you wanted me to tell you about.
I accept your apology.
Now, I just asked a question for clarification. I restated what you said to make sure that I understood your...
I understand your guilt. It's time to move on.
Buddy, me and the G word, not a lot.
Don't get emotional. It's okay. Let's move on. Tell me about Huntington Comic-Con.
What do you want? Oh, well, I'll tell you. I went viral accidentally.
What'd you
do? Have you seen it on Facebook?
No.
So, you a big Slipknot fan?
Can we tell a funny story about this?
Sure.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that's our fucking job.
So
I swear to God, that somebody on a panel this weekend goes, I don't know, can I tell one more story? And I didn't stop myself in front of a whole crowd. Go, yeah, no, that's your fucking job. Everyone laughed.
I am not a huge Slipknot fan. There's a couple of songs.
I've never heard jack shit of Slipknot, Chad.
But when I first went to college, this is where me and Joe met. I went with a friend from high school. We ended up rooming together. He was just he as soon as he got there, he joined a fraternity and became your typical stereotypical frat guy. And he put posters of Matchbox 20 all over our room.
I didn't know they made them.
Now, I cannot stand Matchbox 20.
See, Chad and I finally have something in common. Can you go and throw the Goo Goo Dolls on that big bonfire while you're at?
I like Goo Goo Dolls. I actually
there goes our friendship.
I bought their first album. I couldn't, and that I don't. You probably haven't seen it. Barbie. Have you seen Barbie yet, by any chance?
No. Okay. I'm going to talk about a movie I actually got to sneak out at Huntington Comic-Con.
And we'll talk about Barbie here in a little bit. But
I'm not opposed to seeing Barbie. It's just it hasn't.
I know.
There's other things I would rather see, but if somebody was going with me, I would go.
But there's a gag in Barbie about Matchbox 20 that I won't spoil for you. But it just it fit him to a T. But yeah, he covered covered a portion of our dorm room in Matchbox 20 posters, and I was like, "Fuck this guy! I hate Matchbox 20," and he knows I hate it. So I went to the local CD store, and I'm like, "What can I do to just completely throw him off?" And I found a Slipknot poster. So I bought this. I bought the Slipknot poster specifically to put it next. And I had never heard one Slipknot poster at that point. A song. I had never heard of one at that point. But I got that poster because it was them in their mask and they looked gruesome and scary as hell. And he's not a big horror person to begin with. So which by the way, saying all this, why were we even friends to begin with? Who knows?
Are you talking? I don't know if you're actually talking about him or me now.
I'll let you think about that one.
I'm not going to. Did we mention earlier about my feelings?
I forgive you already. Can we move on? So I put that Slipknot poster right next to the Matchbox 20 poster, and he never said a word, but I knew it annoyed him. So yeah, that's my Slipknot story. So go ahead. So what about what happened at Slipknot with Slipknot?
Well, okay. So Corey Taylor is the lead singer of Slipknot. I, of course, had
He's also what's the other band that he does?
I don't know. Danny Graham told me earlier tonight, and I don't remember.
I want to say it was Stone Sour or something like that.
Yeah, it's something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. And he was going to be there, and I asked the promoter, who's a friend. I said, "Why?" And he goes, "He's our anchor. He's one of them. Him and Tom Kenny, who's the voice of SpongeBob." And by the way,
by the way, it is Stone Sour.
It sounded right.
Yeah.
So he's our anchor. And if that doesn't make any sense to you about a show, then you want 2 or 3 guests. If you're fans of Scarefest in here that you know, like Bruce Campbell, Robert England's your anchor, and then you kind of surround them by people. And there are people who are going to come near and far to see this. So there's a lot of Slipknot fans. I didn't know this. I don't know. I'm familiar with the music. I have nothing against it. I've now listened to a couple of songs just so I can say I've listened to Slipknot. So long story short, too late. I'm going to tell something on myself here that I probably shouldn't, but I am a professional. Chad knows that if I'm going to go do these things, I'm always prepared and I'm always sober, right? I am a professional. We do this little thing with Bonehead Live sometimes. Sorry, I didn't mean to hit the mic, but it's mainly just for the audience. So there's 10 or 15 minutes to go at the end of the costume contest, which I love doing. And it's in Pullman Square. If you've never been to Huntington, it's just in downtown Huntington. It's a big open square where
it's a beautiful place.
It is. It's one of the few pretty places in Huntington. I'm not dry. I would love going there. It's one of my favorite shows to do. And people always ask me why. And I was like, because they're always just so happy to see people. They're always so nice to me and excited. And there's never a cross word. Does that make sense, Chad?
Yep.
They're just wonderful. The West Virginians are just wonderful folks when it comes to that. They're just happy to be there. And I'm happy to be there too. But Pullman Square there is pretty, and not a lot of that 1 block from the Mountain Arts Center down. Anyway, so I love doing emceeing the costume contest there, and I always do it with Mike Bartram, and he's a good friend of mine, and he does it in Lexington, and it doesn't matter. About 10 or 15 minutes to go, I have something in my pocket, and I'm thinking, I'm almost done. And from this point on, am good. I'm going to enjoy because Tom Kenny and his band, the promoter, Jared Greer, once again, friend of the show, friend of ours, brought in all of Tom Kenny's band. And by the way, it's a great band. It's called Tom Kenny and the High Seas.
Yeah.
And they're fantastic. They play a lot. You'd love them, Chad, because they have a horn section.
Oh no, I've listened to a few. I've listened to a few songs. They're great.
They really are. And he does a great show, and they do a lot of R&B, and I love it. Right? So I'm thinking, I'm going to take this particular thing with about 15 minutes to go, the cosplay contest, go out in that crowd and just enjoy myself, Chad. Because I didn't get to do it at Lexicon. I had a cough and my voice was gone. And I was like, I'm having a good time. Oh, buddy, I did that. And I don't even know that anybody's noticing it while I'm still talking. And it takes a while for anything to kick in. Well, I'm about to go off the stage and Brandon, whom you know from this, grabs me and says, Joe, I need you for security. And for some of you all who don't know and listen to us, I'm down about 70 some pounds. It's not me bragging. I'm just not as big as I was. And I mentioned this to him because in my mind, I have this ticking time bomb that I've ingested 15 minutes ago, Chad.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
And he says, it's okay. I just need you to look menacing. Now, Chad, no matter how fat I am, I never look menacing.
Right.
Okay. He sticks my ass at the end of the stage and then explains to me what's about to happen. Corey Taylor is a huge SpongeBob fan. Loves Tom Kenny.
Yeah.
He's at the same show. He has been doing the SpongeBob theme song in his Slipknot shows now for a while because he loves the show.
Huh.
They've never met. Behind the scenes, this has all been planned out in the last 24 to 48 hours, and they've had to have security on this, whoever his name is from Slipknot. I always forgot his name. Scott Taylor, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
They've had to have security and police around him the whole time. Well, he's going to do the theme song in the middle of the show with Tom Kenny. And the crowd doesn't know it. And the crowd's big. Now, on top of all this, Chad, all these things I've set up for you, there is a beer festival going on across the way.
By the way, it's Corey Taylor.
Corey Taylor, sorry. Corey Taylor.
I think Scott Taylor might be a wrestler.
That, sure. Anyway, it's called like Rails and Brews or something like that. A lot of the people I'm working with have tickets and are trying to get me to go throughout the day. And I keep saying, I can't go. I don't drink a lot of beer to begin with. And since I just, with the weight loss, it's hard for me to do carbonated stuff. I just drink bourbon. No problem. So they've got all these drunks starting to come through the audience who are just now looking up the stage and going, why is SpongeBob singing? They start pulling everyone out, even the cops, and then they start pulling staff out of the Inner Geek, Chad, across the way. And you've seen some of the people who work in the Inner Geek across the way there, right?
Yes.
Are they menacing?
No.
They're usually quite what, Chad? Lovely. Let's say
lovely. Yes. Yes. Lovely.
They put them in front of the stage. Chad, does that push people away who may be drunk and ready to fight or who are ready to go and have a good time?
No.
They're going to be attracted to those folks, don't you think?
Yes.
Do you see where this is going, Chad?
Yeah, I'm afraid.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, remember, I'm on the other side of the stage trying to look menacing and trying to pretend I am straight. And I don't mean gay and straight.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
You understand?
You lost me for a minute. Okay.
Now do you get what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
One of the guys who's taking his shirt off starts to climb the tree and starts doing pull-ups, chin-ups. He's going crazy.
Somebody in the audience.
Oh, no, this is one of the people who left the thing has come over because they're starting to come in screaming and trying to get around me and up towards the stage. Mm-hmm. And Corey Taylor is such a fan, he didn't wait till it was time for him to come out and do the SpongeBob thing. Nice guy, actually. I've been in the room with him and didn't get to talk to him, but he's a nice guy. His ass walked over because he wanted to listen to the concert with everybody else. Well, he's only standing 5 foot back, and a bunch of these people in this audience are like, holy shit, that's Corey Taylor from Slipknot. So they're starting to gather even more, trying to get towards the stage. You listening?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Why this didn't blow up and get worse, I have no idea. The police have to come and pull this jackass out who keeps doing push-ups and then starts running away from the security that they've hired on top of all the other people that he has just pulled out of stores to stand in the front of the stage to make sure people.
I guess my question, before you go on with your story, I guess my question, this is one of those things I've never stood about our gender. What is that trying to accomplish?
Him doing push-ups or pull-ups?
Him doing push-ups and pull-ups. What is that trying to do for at a con?
Buddy,
I'm just so pumped. I'm going to do my workout here.
It accomplished nothing except get
pay attention to me. Look how great I am.
It didn't accomplish anything for him to get arrested. That was it.
I just don't have that in my head to go. If I want to be paid attention to, I'm going to be do something to show how strong I am. I'm going to make a fart joke. I'm going to run into a wall.
Those probably aren't going to make you attractive to the opposite.
I'm not trying to make myself attractive. I'm just going to go, this is how I start a conversation because I don't know how to socialize.
Well, that's how he did it, Chad. What's the difference between doing pull-ups on a tree as opposed to a fart joke and running into the wall and causing self-damage?
Yeah, because at least that'll get a laugh.
Oh, no, dude. He was getting lots of laughs.
Oh, my God. That's depressing.
Why? It
People
was hilarious.
because
It
he
was
was
me
making
trying
it.
to keep a straight face too. It was hilarious.
Okay, gotcha.
And when the security started chasing him around, and then they had to call the cops, even funnier. Why this didn't get worse, I have no idea. But people recording it, and then a couple of people posted it, and then Jared posted on YouTube, and then one of the employees, Brandon, posted on TikTok. It went viral on TikTok, and then Rolling Stone picked it up, Billboard magazines picked it up. So if you watch the video, you can see my ass all the way over in the corner of the stage, kind of tapping back and forth. And basically, it's me trying to pretend that I am in my right mind,
Yeah.
watching all this on play. And I had no idea who Corey Taylor was from Slipknot until they announced him for the show, and I didn't bother to look him up because he didn't do a panel, and I just knew it was Slipknot. And I
See, I was gonna.
What?
I'm sure he said it somewhere, but I was hoping you were going to tell me you did a panel because and I should look it up. Because he has a mask that is very similar to David Cronenberg's mask in Nightbreed, and I'm assuming that's the inspiration for his mask.
Oh, I would imagine so.
Yeah.
Imagine so. But he's a huge, and he got up on stage, and the first thing he said is, "This is the dream come true." He truly was. I wouldn't say he's clearly in front of people all the time, but he did not look like he wasn't nervous.
Well, yeah, I mean, so I was
to sing and dance with Tom Kenny.
Yeah, and so my story about Kenny is with you. We were at Comic-Con this past year, and I was with you back in the back, and Tom Kenny walked in, and you told me, and I was always do. I play professional. I try not to geek out, but he walked in the room. And there was that slight little twitch of going, this is SpongeBob, this is Shakes the Clown, and not Shakes, but the character from Shakes the Clown. Yeah. The penguin, he does a great penguin. I mean, he's an amazing actor who I really admire. And if I was to get on stage and sing with him or talk to him, I would probably have the same reaction.
Well, thank goodness I haven't, but I have spent some time with him. I did this panel a few years ago, and I've been in the green rooms with him and whatnot. And let me tell you, folks, about Tom Kenny. And I say, oh, he's a wonderful person. He's a wonderful person. If you don't hear me say somebody's not a wonderful person, it's probably because either A, I don't remember them, or B, I don't tend to talk about the bad ones so much.
Right.
Tom Kenny, I have watched walk down a hallway behind house. And what that means is before they get out in front of everybody, and stop to talk to children who did not ask him to do so and do the voice and make their day.
And that's what he did when we were there. There was a kid back there, and he just attached onto him and just started talking to him and asking him about his day and everything. And I'm like,
Tom Kenny is just as nice as you would ever hope. I've never, in what time I've been around him, I've never seen a bad thing out of it.
Right.
He's a wonderful person. He's going to be in Owensboro, and I'm going to be doing that show on the 1st of October. And I doubt that he'll do a panel again, because especially where he's performing. But if he does, I'm always just ecstatic and always glad to be around him.
Right.
But yeah, that was my quick story of, I didn't know. I just thought it was funny that it went viral, and then especially Rolling Stone and a couple of other people picked it up. And by the way, I don't know how many hits it has to be to go viral. It's just kind of cool. But actually, the really good part of that isn't that. It was just my experience of being up there, being right next to it, because I had no intention to do it.
I can safely say it's nothing we've done on this show that constitutes viral.
No. Absolutely not. Absolutely. And the Huntington people are always great. It's West Virginia, weed's legal there if you have a card. And I got bumped from the hotel I usually stay in to another one. Of course, nobody bothered to tell me after I argued with the front desk at the first hotel that I've stayed in the last 2 years and just assumed they lost my reservation. Thank goodness I didn't make a complete ass out of myself. And let me tell you, there was a family reunion going on throughout that other hotel, and every floor smelled like one thing, Chad. That's right, the devil's cabbage. Man.
There were so many mean jokes I would make, but I like our audience, and I like the people of West Virginia. So I'll
well, no, they were, and they didn't have a problem other than somebody rifled through my truck and they let down my tailgate. They pulled it around for me, and I even did valet. He's like, I said, why's my tailgate getting on? He goes, I don't know. I was like, I'll tell you why. And then later, as I'm driving home, the gas tank thing went off. Somebody opened my gas tank.
Oh shit!
And left it open. He was dinging on I-64, Chad.
I guess it could be worse. There could have been something in the gas tank.
He drove home.
Is sugar in the gas tank still a thing?
I don't know that people. Let's not tell them about it.
Yeah, I mean, I never did it. I was never that kid, but that used to be a trope in movies and television. They
Yeah,
put
I think
sugar in
it's
my
true.
gas tank, but we never hear it now.
No, I think it's true. I think it's true. But yeah, Huntington was a lot of fun. I met a lot of different people. I have a story about a certain cast member for Chips going a little red. And if you think, who's the famous one from Chips? Yep, you nailed it. But that's okay. Chris Pine's dad put him in his place.
Chris Pine's dad was there.
Yeah, he was the captain in Chips, Larry Pine or whatever his name is.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know that that was Chris Pine. Well, I did later, but yeah, that's Chris Pine's dad.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe a certain character was complaining that Chips got canceled after six seasons, which I've heard before. And maybe this certain person had already went off about how you should vote red and blah, 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 which that's okay. We're in West Virginia. Nobody was getting mad in the audience.
Right.
But when he started talking, Chad, about how there wasn't enough rabbis to protect them on the show, do you get where he was going with that, Chad?
I get where he's going with that.
Because the creator wasn't.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why at a 32 share that got canceled.
Shoo.
Yeah, I don't think the audience picked up on it, but me and Mr. Pine did. And Mr. Pine turned around and goes, I need you to explain exactly what it is you're saying. Good times. Good times.
Good times.
It is. I wasn't mad at it. I mean, that's a little disgusting, but I mean, it's a good story to tell later, but it's unfortunate. So,
yeah.
And I am reading into a lot of it. So I did that. You went to Universal. Real quick, I know we were talking about some stuff, but I want to talk about a movie. So I had 2 or 3 hours Friday night. I didn't have anything. Usually I have something Friday night and I didn't. And we were supposed to hang out with some people later and they weren't going to be free till after 9. I got there at 5 or 6 and the movie started. There was 2 movies I wanted to see, 2 horror films because a review for Scarefest. I wanted to see Talk to Me and Voyage of the Demeter, Last Voyage of the Demeter. And Talk to Me just happened to be 93 minutes and fit in that time frame, which I could have seen either because we didn't end up having dinner with anybody anyway. Dude, Talk to Me.
Good.
It's damn good. It's damn good. I mean, it's very simple. It's just a hand. Have you seen the trailer for it? I knew
no, I don't
about it.
It's one of those ones that I honestly don't know anything about, and I kind of want to hold off on not knowing anything about it.
All
but
right,
you can talk. You can talk about it. It's fine. I'll see it.
I did a review for it that'll come out on Scarefest this weekend. But what
it's like I didn't know anything about X, so I was like, I'll see X, and I know you'd been talking, but you hadn't told me anything about it, so I watched it, and I'm like,
I think it's over. I watched Pearl. So Pearl's much better.
I watched them back to back.
Well, did you like Pearl better? Because I thought
X
was kind of cliche.
I did, but not by much.
I liked Pearl better.
Yeah.
I think I just liked all the garish colors in Pearl and all that
stuff. And nothing about X made it. There was parts about X that made no sense whatsoever.
Yeah, but don't you think that Mia Goth is the only thing that holds those movies together?
Man, I don't know.
I like Mia Goth.
She's okay. Personally, and it's just I'm fond of her anyway. But Jenny Ortega, I thought kind of.
Is she an X?
She's an X. Yeah.
Okay.
She plays the one who's there with her boyfriend to film, and then she ends up.
I swear I don't remember. I forgot, except for the alligator scene and a few other things. I forgot all about it.
Yeah, she wanted to do she ended up wanting to do the porno and got, and I think what implied that she went down on Kid Cudi.
Yeah, well, who hasn't? Who hasn't?
But
so, no, Talk to Me is first of all, I didn't know it was Australian.
Oh, okay.
And second, Peter Jackson, and if you haven't saw it, Peter Jackson came out this week and said it was the best, most blah, 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 blah horror film he's seen in 10 years.
Damn, I got to see it then.
I don't think it's that good, Chad.
Okay.
But I think it was pretty damn good. Make sense?
Yeah.
So, and it's a fairly simple plot. It's just a hand like this. And I knew nothing about it. If I hadn't been, actually, and this is a good thing about Twitter, if I hadn't been for Twitter, I wouldn't even know if I would have even bothered to watch it. And there's just a hand like this, and kids are taking it to parties. And if you take the hand, it's ceramic, it's got a bunch of stuff written on it, and you say, talk to me, you see a dead person on the other side.
Okay.
I'll tell you no more.
Okay.
And it's so good. But I think the thing that kept it from being, because I don't, a lot of people talking about how scary it is. I don't know that I found it. I jumped a couple of times and it's uneasy in places, but I think there is a certain, oh man, I'm trying to think of a good, there to me, there's a little bit of hope in the movie, and there's enough hope that keeps it from being just a dread kind of like Texas Chainsaw.
Right.
You know, Texas Chainsaw, if you've never seen it before, I feel, especially if you saw it, can you imagine seeing it in 70, 71 in the theater? And it would have ripped you apart. You never seen anything like it. I think there's a certain amount of hope in Talk to Me, even though it doesn't end well for everybody. That does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Like like I don't know, The Omens or a few others. There's just movies where just shit. There's no hope.
Yeah.
There's nothing. The Thing is kind of like that.
Oh yeah. The thing is, yeah.
Yeah, it's just Prince of Darkness is like that. Mouth Madness. I'm trying to think. There's just no hope. What are you going
The
to do?
Ring.
The
No
Ring.
hope.
Yeah, the original Evil Dead is kind of, there's just no hope. How does it ever stop?
Right.
You can't stop them.
But of course, I mean, that's Evil Dead to a T. It never stops.
Yeah,
I mean, it still never stops.
you never. I mean, you just can't stop them. So
There's no happy ending.
there's no happy end. Evil Dead Rises does a pretty good job with that. It's just going to keep going.
Yeah, yeah.
It's going from one place to the next. But I hope you don't catch it.
Oh man, I hope we get a sequel.
Oh yeah, I'm sure we would have made a lot of money. So that I do recommend that. You got something?
So movies that I
Movies or
recommend.
shows?
Well, TV shows. I do want to recommend. It's so bizarre. I never thought I would like Twisted Metal.
I'm getting into it too.
I really enjoyed it. It's not like the video game at all.
Oh, it isn't?
No,
I don't remember ever playing. I'm sure I played it, but I have no recollection.
they're setting up. I don't want to give too much away, but they're getting there. This is just kind of building.
No,
up.
I watched the first episode, the last episode first.
Why?
Accident. Because I wasn't the one in control of the remote, and the whole time it was going on, I said, "Are you sure this is the first episode?" Yes.
You know what's funny?
Kicking. What?
I did that for Eastbound and Down. Oh,
For some odd reason, and by the way, I blamed her. And then when the second or third night we went back to it, it started on episode 10 again.
Yeah.
I don't know. Glitch in the streaming.
Yeah, but no, it's building up to what there is no plot to Twisted Metal, the video game. The video game is all these different characters compete in a tournament. Whoever wins gets their wish from the Calypso.
Right.
Their heart's desire from Calypso. That's all it is. And I love the video games. When I was a teenager, I started playing them in college. Actually, when I got in PlayStation. So I really enjoyed that show. I can't recommend it enough. It's just it makes me laugh.
It is funny, and I'm, by the way, Anthony Mackie. No, hold on. Is it
Anthony Mackie? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't like him in everything,
Mm-mm.
but when he's well cat, man, he is perfect for that.
Yeah, I've never seen him that way.
I haven't either. He's perfect in that. No, I agree with you. I'm going to finish it up this week. I'm enjoying Twisted Metal.
Yeah, movie wise, man. Sorry.
No, I agree with you. Well, while you're thinking of a movie, I've got
no. Okay, you got a show. I've got a movie, but I don't know if I can recommend it. But go ahead.
The Bear. I burned through season 2 quick.
I need to watch it. I haven't watched it. It's
not everybody's cup of tea, and she didn't care for it really that much. But it is, oh my goodness, and it is filled with cameos, or at least I don't want to call them cameos, but just fantastic actors doing just small roles throughout the series. And the second series even has more of that. Second season. I don't know why it works. It shouldn't. I don't give a shit about a kitchen or working in a restaurant. Never wanted to do any of that, but it works for me. It's really good. I enjoy it a lot. But I'm with you, Twisted Metal, man.
Yeah,
it's fun.
The other TV show, just real quick, is I'm a Virgo.
Really?
Boots Riley.
Who's Boots Riley?
The guy, I might be saying his name wrong. The guy who did Sorry to Bother You.
Oh, okay.
His new show is on Amazon Prime. Highly recommend it.
Is it good?
Yeah, it's his take on superheroes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. And also too, it has a lot of um not political but social, um like how we act as a society, especially to the African American race. I mean,
Uh-huh.
it's great. I can't recommend it enough. Movie wise, man, James and I don't know if you've had a chance to watch it yet, but Sisu,
No, I haven't had a chance to watch it yet.
I love James and I both love Sisu. Um, and I again, I sit there when Barbie came out. I know it's a mega blockbuster. It's cliche. It's, you know, where you're. I could give you some less some obscure, more obscure, lesser known movies, but going into Barbie, I had no expectations. I was. It's a movie about dolls. I
But it
never played
works.
with. I never played with Barbies. I know this is. I'm taking this for my daughters. I heard the stuff about how it's really great for, you know, female empowerment and talking a movie from the female perspective.
Hmm.
I love the hell out of that movie. Everything that happened. I mean, it really did. It went and said, look, this is everything we struggle with being female.
Hmm.
And it's stuff that I knew. It's stuff that I'm not necessarily looking forward to having two daughters, seeing them face, but it
Well, their
spoke to
real
people.
dad will help.
Yeah, it spoke to the true. It spoke to them. It spoke in a way that was easy to understand.
Yeah.
And Margot Robbie, who I'm not necessarily like, I like her, but I'm not a huge fan of hers.
Hmm.
She was great in this movie. So just perfectly acted. Again, you know, there are men who are going talking, and I don't even know if they've ever seen it, and they need to shut their mouths. It's a great
Hey,
movie.
listen, if it's well, the Boneheads, you don't even care for musicals, but if
No.
it's well done, the Boneheads will sit through it
Mm-hmm.
and scream about it later. I'm not a huge musical fan either, but I still love Chicago. I'm not a huge musical fan either, but there's other movies that I love.
Yeah, I'm not a musical fan either, but there are music. If you we did an episode on them, I could give you a list of musicals that I actually enjoy.
So if Barbie's great, I want to see it. I just don't have. It's just not. There's just been no one for me to go with for
Yeah,
as a random ass dude.
and
Tell
I
you,
would
there's a
feel,
lot more people waiting in line for Barbie screenings than there were Talk to Me.
and it feel completely just if I didn't have two daughters who wanted to see it. Have I don't have the I could not sit in a movie as a male by myself with a large female audience. I don't have again. I am very socially awkward. I don't know how I'm married, happily married. I don't know how I'm married.
Well, she doesn't know how you're happily married
Yeah,
either,
I don't know either. Yeah,
because
it's
she isn't.
I would sit in a corner and just shake, and then that gives off the wrong appearance anyway. It'd be Paul Rubens all over again. Just I don't have the
Or are
fame.
you going to die
Yeah, oh,
too soon? Too
too soon.
soon. No, I would go see it. It's just really about. You want to know the truth? Someone on Twitter wrote about the Last Voyage of the Demeter being a great callback to Hammer films, and that's all I want to see. The only reason I saw Talk to Me was because the Last Voyage of the Demeter was 2 hours and started 30 minutes later.
When we were at Universal,
You know what I
uh,
mean, though?
yeah,
It was the only reason.
we were at Universal, and on City Walk they have that big AMC theater,
Yep.
and we were on City Walk just going so the girls could shop for souvenirs.
Hmm.
And I'm like, I know they're going to shop for about an hour and a half. I said, Christy, would it be terrible if I said, hey, can I go see the last voyages of the meter while you all shop? And she said, yes. So it's like, all right, oh, cool. We'll just go
Well, I
shopping then.
told you and she didn't think that through, didn't you? You should have reminded her that you're happy and she's not. I don't
I just,
understand why you
it
didn't
was
do that.
right there. I wanted to see it. I wanted to go into that big theater on City Walk and watch a movie. And plus, I injured my ankle getting off a roller coaster with my daughter, and I'm like, it's painful to stand on it till right now.
Yeah.
But I didn't get that. I didn't get to go see it.
Yeah. And that's the reason why you should never travel with your family.
And this Friday, I'm off, and I may go see Strays. So
There, yeah, see, and there's going to be something else, and that's okay because Last Voyage of the Demeter is bombing. I
yeah,
looked, and then Friday, there's only going to be in like one or two theaters. It's in all of them right now, but if you go
yeah,
Friday, it's
it's
already
gone.
checked. It's gone.
Yeah, yeah.
So I've got to somehow sneak out and see it in the next few hours. So I want to do that. That's the only few things I can recommend. You and I talked about Werewolves Within, and I watched that the other day, and I really wanted to see that, and
It was just disappointing. You saw the ending coming.
a mile away.
Yeah. And I mean, I like everybody in that movie,
Yeah,
but
but it needed a rewrite.
yeah,
It
it,
needed a rewrite.
yeah, I completely agree with that.
It just none of the jokes land. It just needed a rewrite. It just doesn't
Oh,
work.
I normally don't talk. So I do got to talk about this real quick. I had an amazing moment while we were on vacation.
Mm-hmm.
My youngest daughter, she's 7 years old, sit down with me, watched Young Frankenstein in our condo, and loved it.
H watched it.
Huh?
I didn't know if you wanted me to say her name or not.
Yeah, my youngest. Yeah.
Haley.
She
That's
watched
what I'm
it. Yeah,
saying.
yeah.
Haley watched it.
Yeah,
Haley,
she
the
watched it.
only fan of the Lewis household.
Yeah, she loved it and watched it. And I'm
That's
like,
awesome.
I can't. And now the downside is when we got home, I'm like, oh, you loved Young Frankenstein. Obviously, she's too young to watch Blazing Saddles, and she's still not at the capabilities of her reading where she could watch silent movies, which is the one I really wanted to show her.
Well,
So
no,
I
you
showed,
showed her. You showed her one of you showed her the two on Mount
yeah,
Olympus. You showed her
yeah,
one of the two.
yeah.
I know you
But
like silent movie, but it's still not Young Frankenstein.
no, I know it's not. But now that I showed her the peak, I wanted
Peak.
to show her the others. So I ended up trying to show her Robin Hood Men in Tights and Spaceballs, and she did not like either one.
Well, at least you like Young Frankenstein. I may
Yeah.
actually try to see if Quint will sit down and watch it. I've been trying to get him
She
to watch some of the monster films, and he won't really.
she laughed at put the candle back. I'm not even laughing. I'm just smiling too hard to see my daughter laughing at the put the candle back.
That's hilarious. I wish I actually could have seen that. All right. Well, this has been an episode without James. We miss James. He'll be back
Hopefully next week.
once we cure him off the turkey. I don't know. Which lie should we make up about James?
Ooh, man.
The reason
What could
he's
we
not
talk
here.
about?
Why isn't he here?
Well, he did get caught at that alpaca farm doing things that we should not speak of,
Yeah.
mainly eating their food.
Mainly eating their food. Who would eat alpaca dry food? What the hell does an alpaca eat? Soylent Green.
I think mostly corn, maybe.
I don't know.
And we know how
Do
James
you know
likes
an
corn.
alpaca?
Yeah.
Let's end with, hey, folks, if you're listening to this and you want to talk to the Boneheads, reach out to us. We're on Twitter. We're also on Facebook, and tell us, what do alpacas eat?
I don't know. Can they reach out to us on Twitter now or now X? Don't you have to pay for that ability? I
I
can't
think
remember.
they can tweet at us. They can
Okay,
tweet
they can tweet
at
at
Bonehead
us.
Weekly, and you can
Yeah, so
tweet at
tweet
Evil
at Bonehead
Joe.
Weekly. What alpacas eat?
Yeah, this has been Bonehead Weekly. Maybe we'll have James next week.
I almost said fun size.
I did too. I actually had to stop myself. See ya.